Today we're talking about mistakes that you don't want to make to your mustache. I'm Justin and this is 30 Day Reviews. When I started growing my mustache, I honestly didn't know anything about how to grow a mustache or how to properly care for facial hair. I had a goatee, but honestly, all I did was washed it with a little shampoo, and that's pretty much about it. Well, since then, I have learned a few things that I did wrong, and I'm going to tell you about a couple of them today. Now, the first mistake that I made when I started growing my mustache was I trimmed it repeatedly, multiple times before I should have. Because your mustache, guys, is going to look a little bit weird or creepy at certain stages of its growth. And if you haven't grown a mustache before, it's going to look really weird to you. And so you're going to want to trim it and try to make it look better. But all you're doing there is setting yourself back to look awkward or strange again in a couple of weeks. So I highly suggest do not trim it till at least you're where you think you want to be at, or even past that point, because then you can trim it up and line everything up and make it look nice at that point. And then you're not going to be setting yourself back weeks or even months. When you do decide to trim, you're going to want to make sure that you don't take too much. This is another mistake that, once again, I made too many times. And honestly, last time that I trimmed up my handlebars here, I took a little bit more off than I was planning to. However, with the handlebars, it doesn't look too horribly bad. However, if you have a smaller mustache, a little bit can mean a lot and a big difference. So what you're going to want to do is just take off just a little bit of each side at a time until you are where you're going to want to be. Now you may think that, oh, I can take off a ½ inch off of this and it'll be fine. Well, in ½ inch on a ruler isn't that much. However, ½ inch off your mustache handlebars is going to be quite a big difference. So therefore, when you're trimming, just make sure you take it slow. The third thing I didn't do is train my mustache. I didn't for several reasons. One, I didn't know that training a mustache was actually a thing. Two, even if I had, I didn't know what kind of mustache I wanted yet. So therefore, I didn't know that I was going to need to separate the hair and start to comb them out, because I didn't know I was going to go with a handlebar at that time. So I highly suggest trying to figure out what kind of mustache you would like to grow and start training the hairs as soon as you possibly can. The fourth mistake that I made, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I used a trimmer with a guard on it because, you know, going with your mustache or against your mustache here with a guard is definitely a great idea, or so I thought. But it is not. The reason why is because you do not want all of your mustache hair the same length. The hair by the lips are needing to be a little bit shorter than the hair on the top. If you are growing a mustache straight down, you need your mustache hair up here to go all the way down to the lips. Well, you can't do that if you are trimming it with a guard. I also suggest, even if you're just trimming up against the lips, do not use any electric razor unless if you are extremely confident with yourself, because you can easily accidentally take off too much even with just a regular blade. So the fifth thing on this list is not warming up your mustache wax enough. If it seems like it's pulling on your hair too much, or you are actually pulling out hair out of your mustache, then your wax is not warm enough and you need to go back to warming it whatever method you were using. Now, most waxes, anywhere in the medium to strong hold, can usually be warmed up just in your hands. However, the strong hold ones are going to take quite a while to do that with, or even just having it in your pocket. The medium and light hold ones, you can just shove them in your pocket for 15-20 minutes, and they should be warm enough at that point that you can easily spread it out on the mustache. You definitely don't want to be pulling out mustache hairs. You may do it from time to time, but chances are that mustache hair was going to fall out anyway, so that's not a big deal. But when you are getting a few at a time, that's when you need to probably realize that your mustache wax is probably a little bit too thick and needs a little bit more warming. Now this last one I've heard from quite a few people on my videos, and usually it has to do with some of these stronger hold mustache waxes. I've heard quite a bit that they've applied it and it held for 15 minutes and then it broke and didn't hold anymore. Well, usually that's because you are applying too much. So do not apply too much wax because it can weigh down your mustache and not hold it where you want it to be. Now what I would suggest is after warming it sufficiently, you take a pea-size amount out of the tin, whether it's with something that came with it or your thumbnail, and take that pea-size amount, break it in half, and apply it to each side of your mustache. What this does is it ensures that you're not going to apply too much all at one time. And you're going to, of course, pull it from the inside and work your way out. Also, by putting too much wax in, you can actually get a clumpy area in the stash that is really hard to pull out and to distribute that wax properly. So just make sure that you're using a little bit at a time. And if you're going to add more, use less than you did the time before that. For more information on how to apply a mustache wax or a heavy mustache wax, make sure to check out the links down below. Hopefully what I've learned will have helped you out some, because I don't want you guys to have to go through all the troubles that I have just to get a decent looking stash. For more grooming tips, go ahead and check out this playlist up here, and below that's going to be a mustache wax playlist that you'll probably enjoy as well. Until next time, as always, you have a good one.